Hello Year 4. Today in art we are going to be designing a print. Last week we used a variety of materials to experiment adding extra effects to our river collage, and today we will be building on this to create our own. So some things to consider are: what do we need to use when creating a printing block? How will you design your printing block, and can you label your plan? We're going to be designing a fish print. So first of all, here are some images of some fish. Generally, these ones are found in rivers. There are some obvious exceptions, but most of these we would see in places that we're designing our river collage on. So let's consider some of these and think about how we're going to incorporate something like this into the background that you've already done. So one of your first questions, I can hear you crying out, Mr. Brook, how do we draw a fish? I'm going to show you in a how-to video how I would draw a very simple and basic fish design, and I hope that you will be able to use this to create your own. To draw our fish, first thing we're going to need is a nice bit of paper. Second, a pencil or something to draw with, and I've also included a rubber for reasons I will get to in a second. When I'm drawing a fish, first thing I need is a body. So best thing to do with a fish is have a nice oval body ready. Bit like that. Next, I'm going to add what's called the caudal fin, which is the back fin. And I'm going to go out like this, so it's going to come out in a bit of a curve. I've got another one kind of curving out here. And then I'm going to come slightly inwards here, and then go back out here. That's my caudal fin. Next, I'm going to include a mouth. So to do that, I'm going to, in this instance, use a rubber here. I'm going to just rub out a little bit of the front, and my mouth's going to dip in a little, like this. Bit like that. Fantastic. Next, I'm going to include the dorsal fin, which is another word for the fin that goes at the top of the fish. So I'm going to draw a line here and a line here. And then I'm just going to join those two lines together with a slight curvature, like so. Your pelvic fin, which is on the bottom, which again, I'm going to bring in and add a little curve like that. Fantastic. Next, I'm going to include an eye, because my fish needs to be able to see. So, a nice big eye here, a nice pupil in the middle. There we go. Fantastic. I am very happy with that, and if that's the type of design that you'd like, that's fine. I'm going to add a bit more detail just to try and mix up a little. So one of the things I can include is called a pictorial fin, which looks something like this here. So mine's going to go up here, and this is the fin that they use when they go swimming about. I'm also going to include a gill, which I'm going to put here, and that's going to help the fish breathe underwater. And finally, something called a lateral line, which some fish have, and that's just a line that goes from here, and it dips a little, and it goes all the way to the end of the body. And that's my fish. Next thing I need to do now is think about how I'm going to print this onto paper. So for me, I need to think about materials. So around my fish, I need to start designing, planning, preparing the things that I need to turn this into a print. One thing I will definitely need is some card, some thick card. And the idea of thick card is that it's going to be really firm, so when I push it down on the paper, it's not just going to fall apart or go all in odd angles. So I'm definitely going to need some thick card. What am I going to use to make the print? I'm thinking string. String for myself. Some of you might be using straws, but I would prefer to use string for myself. Next, how am I going to stick it down? I'm going to use PVA glue. So there we go. I've got some materials I know I'm going to need when I actually create this. What's next? Well, colour's really important. What colour do I want my fish to be? So I've only got one print that I'm going to be making. Some of you might have more. However, I really need to think about, what do I want my fish to be like? Do I want it to be all bright and sparkly like it would be maybe in the tropical cities, but unfortunately this is in a river. So I'm thinking maybe a kind of greyish colour. Now, I'm also thinking as well that I could have some light grey at the top, perhaps. Maybe up here. Maybe some darker grey here, because this part's going to have the sun pointing down on it, and this bottom part here is maybe less likely to see the sun. So I'm going to put dark grey. So I'm going to mix and match it up a little. Next, now I need to think about the size of it. Is this okay? Do I only just want one? Because this is going to take up a really large section of my picture. So when I come to creating my print, is that okay? Do I want it slightly smaller? That's something that I'm going to have to debate. So size, too big? Can I make it smaller? Do I want to make it smaller? All things to consider. Finally, how am I going to print? How will you print this onto your surface? How are you going to apply the paint or whatever material you're using? So paint or ink are probably the best things to have. Are you going to use a roller? Are you going to just dip it into paint? Are you going to do it little by little? Are you going to apply paint first? Whatever way you decide to do it. So, here I have my fish, and it is now ready with some planning for what I want to do next. One thing you'll need for next week is your plan or your design for your fish. So whatever you've worked on today, you need to bring with you ready for the following week. We'll also need card to print it on. Strong card, thick card would be preferred so that we can draw our outline on it and then stick down the material we're going to use to print. I'm going to use string, but as I've said in the video, if you have straw, that's also perfectly fine to use, but something that will give us the outline of a fish that you can put over your drawing. How are we going to stick it down? We're going to use glue. I've got some PVA glue that I'm definitely going to be using to make sure that it's all stuck down firmly. Finally, and the most important part, the ultimate addition to any hard work is patience. It's going to be quite difficult, I am aware, to stick down string onto some card, especially of an outline that you've designed. So, with your design, do make sure that it's something that you know you can work with and that you can apply other material to the top of it, because that's going to be really, really important. Have fun with it, and don't forget, you're adding this to your background. So make it personalised, make it fun, just try and have a really good time with it, but let's see what we can do with some printing blocks. Thank you for all of your hard work, Year 4. I can't wait to see your designs. I hope that you're all well and stay safe, and I hope to speak to you all in person very, very soon. Bye.